Violent slap. Open with a violent slap. Welcome to episode 2 of what is currently being called the Pogcast. I'm gonna come up with a better name. I am. But now is not the time for that. Today, I do have a wonderful guest with me. This is Fishy. Say hello, Fishy.
Hello. Haha. Classic comedy. I know.
Wow.
Uh,
Wow.
yes.
Disgusting. Horrible. I hate it. You're off the podcast. Goodbye. Just kidding.
Very nice.
Um,
I achieved everything I set out to do. This is such a wonderful day.
I'm glad I can fix your day. If you see me looking off to the right, I do actually have my camera going. It's because I have a second monitor set up, and I'm looking at the audio levels to make sure it's all good. But I'm just gonna assume it's fine, and I'm gonna try not to worry about it. So we're just gonna vibe. All right.
I mean, to be fair, the worst thing that could happen is just that the viewer listens to a podcast for like 5 minutes and then decides, no, I don't like this, and goes on to another one.
That is fair. I mean, who's really gonna listen to this anyway? But it's fun.
I mean, Jen and Fern are. I am
Yeah.
greeting Jen and Fern with this one because I bamboozled you, you fools.
Wow.
Yes,
Very
they
classy.
they will be very, very, very happy about this.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they will be. For those who don't know, Jen and Fernie are two fantastic people in my Discord. Shout out everyone again in my Discord. Everybody in my Discord gets a shout out every time, every podcast, because I love.
Please don't read through the name of every one of them.
I'm not going to.
We
I'm
are,
not. I don't have time for that. You don't have time for that. Nobody got time for
That
that.
is correct.
So, today we're going to be talking about some music stuff. I actually have some bullet points listed out. Some stuff I actually want to talk about. Already more structured than the last one. The last one was a fucking mess. Oh my god. But we're not going to worry about it.
I mean, it was the first episode. Have you ever seen the first episode of something that is not a TV show that wasn't a mess?
Fair point, but I did not even prepare for the last one because I did not even have any talking points, and I just rambled for about 25 minutes. Which
Yes, that's not a podcast. That's a conscious stream. No, stream of consciousness. Stream of consciousness. That's a thing. But why don't we move on to the bullet points that you so very nicely prepared?
So first one is actually introductions. So you should introduce yourself. Everybody knows who I am. Well, actually, if this is your first viewing of the podcast, shame on you. Watch the first episode, you piece of shit.
Actually, don't watch it. Don't watch it because the audios are kind of fucked.
Okay, the audio is kind of
copyrighted.
fucked. I have it fixed in this one. I used a whole different recording system for this one. Fuck the last OBS I was using true OBS for this one.
Okay. Let's settle on a compromise, right? Viewers of the podcast, in this very moment, go back to the first episode, leave a like, comment under the video. Oh my god, my wife's boyfriend and me loved this. Please continue making this, and then maybe subscribe, turn on the bell, tell your firstborn, sell your firstborn, tell your grandmother that you haven't listened to in 20 years and haven't called once in the last 5 months, you stupid piece of shit. And then return back.
Yes. Good. Yes. Good idea. Very good. Go like and subscribe and comment that your wife's boyfriend loves this, and or that you enjoy it, and that you crank it up so you can't hear them fucking through your wall, since you now live in the guest bedroom of your own house. And then come back to this one, and just pause this one. Like and subscribe this one too. Like and subscribe, ring the bell, like this video, comment how good it is already because it's fucking amazing. Go back to the first one. Comment how much your wife's boyfriend loves watching this and listening to this, and how much you enjoy listening to it while your wife and her boyfriend fuck like animals in the next room of your own house.
Don't say the F word. We are on YouTube. You want to get monetized. Anyways, you
I
need
don't
that money
care
for
about
cocaine.
I need that money. Wow. How am I going to get monetized if you just oust me for doing this for cocaine?
I didn't think that one entirely through.
Yeah, fuck you.
Let's get to the introductions. Ha ha ha.
So if you didn't watch the last one, I'm Styles or Stilly. I suck ass. Okay, your turn.
Alright, wonderful. My name is Fishy. I'm a professional seal clubber. Me and seals go clubbing. When we go clubbing, we wreck the dance floor. It is amazing. I'm a professional yogurt connoisseur. I tasted all kinds of yogurt, you know, the white one, the magnolia one, the bone-colored one. I know them all. I've seen them all. I've tasted them all. I am truly a master of things. And it happens that I am on a podcast now, apparently, and I came to open your minds. I came to open your third eye. I cannot guarantee that you will make it out of this podcast the same person you went into it. You will undergo a metamorphosis. The story by Kafka, you know, the one with the cockroach guy.
Uh-huh.
You will do that. You will wake up as a cockroach.
Okay. Wow. Wow. Holy shit. Okay. That was quite the introduction. Thank you for that, Fishy. Very wonderful.
Nothing to thank me for. I have nothing to do, and my mind is unhinged. Now onwards to the first point.
Oh my god. Okay. So these are really broad points, but just specifically for you, what does music mean? Like musically mean to you? Not like musically the shitty app that died and now is replaced by TikTok, but like music in general.
I mean,
go ahead.
I mean, it entirely depends on what the music, in first of all, in what context it is used for, how you listen to, when you listen to it. You know, that's I think the nice thing is that when looking at music, there's so much music out there for literally anything. You want a playlist for watching birds? You can make one. You want a playlist for sitting with your soulmate in a room? We got you covered, homie. Like, you want just music for basically everything. Never before did we have so much music, and just the things that you can say, oh, that's music, right?
Yeah. Because I mean,
So, per
what
example,
even is like music anymore, other than just because we have so many abstract different genres and different
yeah,
because you can go
yeah,
anything now. You can just kind of be like, even just going on YouTube, just be like beating my wife type beat, or like holding the entire nation of Croatia to ransom to the UN, or I nuke the children type beat, and like you can get really anything like music wise, and there's like whole genres of like there's chip tune and 16-bit and like just garage beat and
yeah, no, because it's just so very, very nice that we have just so much different stuff. When considering for many parts of history, society has frowned upon stuff that they didn't consider music, right?
Yeah.
For example, something that I've recently read about was the Gymnopédie by what was his name? Some dead guy. Right?
Yeah, right, yeah. If you're not living, you're dead.
I hope so. I hope so. No, but I think the Gymnopédie number 3 is a song that a lot of people will recognize when they hear it, but not a lot of people don't know the name of. But it's this piece. It's this very, very tranquil and nice background piece. And when it first came out, it wasn't like the creator of it, first of all, didn't consider himself as a musician. He was a what was the word? It was a weird, like, early 1900s word, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't want to make, or like he didn't want to see himself as a musician because he considered the works he made not like a classical piece of music, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, also, don't quote me on this. You must
Yeah.
always remember I am an idiot.
Yes, yes.
Don't quote me.
The only thing you
Don't
can
take my
quote is
knowledge.
Fishy is an idiot. That is the most
Yes,
quotable line is Fishy is an idiot.
yes, it is. That's the thing. Um,
But yeah, no, like I get what you're saying. Like the composer sat there and was like, this isn't really like like I'm trying to think of the correct word to use, but like isn't like eloquated to like music standards of that day. So like it wasn't exactly like Beethoven or
yeah. But um, I think today there are more people that would say, it's a beat, I groove to it, right?
yeah
It's
yeah yeah.
music. Than ever before, even though we still have people, that are be like, oh, that is not music, that is just noise, yes. And you've got politicians running around. I'm not looking at anyone in
Yeah yeah
particular,
yeah yeah yeah.
that
This is
has
not a
special
political
criteria for what is.
podcast, Fishy. This is
This is
not.
not a political podcast. I am just saying,
I.
if we literally ate the rich, overpopulation, not a
Okay.
problem, right?
Yeah, if you want to just bring up the Scottish piece of satire, which is just let's cure the problem of the Irish plague or the potato famine by eating babies. Yeah, but no, like I think you definitely made like an interesting point somewhere in that weird bramble you ended up in. But where even though we have so much like varying types of music, there's still there's so many people who gate and nitpick and like gate guard what music is and what music like should
Yeah.
be. Like
I mean,
there's so many like
and
like classically, like classical musicians will sit there and go,
uh,
like let me turn my nose up to you and scoff at your computer generated music or your you sitting in a dark room screaming for 10 hours and putting it on YouTube, which I'm pretty sure is an actual video of someone just sitting there looping themselves screaming for 10 hours. And honestly,
yeah, I
it's
mean,
kind of a bop.
it,
It kind of
I mean,
slaps.
what was the name? Fuck. For example, I mean, honestly, even I myself, there's like just out of, I even catch myself saying, "Hey, that's not music," but
Yeah, yeah.
it's just because I don't like it. It's just something that you do, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I still think that literally anything can be music, right? So 10,000 or 20,000 years ago, some guy picked up the bone and fucking blew air through it, and that created a sound. And those were the first flutes. You wouldn't go to these people and say, "Well, that is not music." Well, it kind of is.
It
Like
kind of is.
I could bang a rock in a steady rhythm against a wall, and that would be music.
Yeah, I mean, what's really all that different between banging a rock on a wall and someone sitting down with on like a box drum, or someone sitting there with even just a normal drum kit? I mean, it's really just big bowls with like leather on top that you hit with a spinny stick, and it makes
It's quite literally just a case of haha, ergo vibrate, ergo
haha air,
boom,
haha ergo whoop 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 whoop.
ergo whoop
Uh,
whoop.
oh, but yeah, no.
um,
And today, like, I also catch myself doing that because like I'll sit there and be like, is this really what people like call music? Like, I'm not a big component of like dubstep or really EDM music in general because like I
mhm.
don't get me wrong, there were 2 weeks in high school. 2 weeks in high school where I went, this is my shit. I'm gonna sit here and listen to
Yeah.
Monster Cat go wop 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 in my ears for 45 minutes and consider that as par as classic music. But
Hmm.
I just now that I look back, I go, so like, yeah, I can kind of like, vibe and kind of move to it, but it's like, at what point is this music? But then I sit there and go, what's all that different from me sitting behind a computer and making it go wop wop wop, and me, hitting my fingers against the strings of my guitar and it going wop wop wop,
Yeah. I mean, I think what many people make, or like what classical music makes it so special for many people, or like traditionally produced music, is that it does indeed take a lot more skill to play a guitar than to make it on the computer, right?
I mean, have you ever
So
tried to
when you
make music
play,
on a computer? I tried, and shit, it's
I
honestly
mean,
difficult. I've made one. I just was trying to make like a lo-fi beat, and you can find it on my YouTube channel. You just scroll down. It's horrible. It's about a minute 45 long, and it's the most basic thing I've ever made out of samples. So I didn't even make it really myself. It's just made from samples that I downloaded off the
hmm
internet. And that took me probably like 45 minutes just trying to attempt to make it, which doesn't sound like a
yeah,
lot of
but
time. But when I wasn't the component making it, I was just kind of putting them together. Like that took way longer than it probably needed to. And there's a
I
lot of
mean, but
really
to be fair, you said it took you about 45 minutes. Now, how long did it take you to learn a basic rhythm and play that really well on a guitar?
Okay, that's fair. Took me about 2 weeks.
So yeah, and I think that's what many people say makes good music, where you like really have to master an instrument.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I see that as I definitely understand where they're coming from. Like that
yeah,
is.
and looking at, if you argue, hey, I think this is objectively better music because there's a lot more work involved behind it. I can say, yeah, I can kind of see that, but
Hmm.
that still doesn't qualify putting down other music. I mean, sometimes there are just tracks that are shit,
Yeah, no.
but you
There's a
can't.
lot of
But at
music
the
that's
end,
just shit.
yeah, but
For
like
how much
at the
music's
end of
out
the
there,
day,
a good chunk of it's pretty shitty.
yeah. But I mean, at the end of the day, when it comes to music or anything that is influenced by human emotion, there can be no objective way of saying, hey, that's shit and that's not. Because, for example, when looking at the, let's say, complexity of songs or instruments used, I mean, yeah, sure, you can go ahead and make these absolutely amazing pieces with like 500 different instruments and rhythm patterns and other scientific stuff I don't understand,
Yeah.
and someone will just go, yeah, I like this, but this is better, and it's just me banging rocks against the wall.
Yeah, I liked your whole orchestrative piece, but have you heard this song? It go whoop 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 really steadily.
Have you heard that guy going thonk? That's pretty good. So at,
That's pretty good. I love that shit.
but
That shit goes off. Don't even
yeah,
start
but
with me on
I
that
mean,
one. I mean the way he go, that shit slap.
yeah, and I mean, so that's basically what music means to me, is just stuff I can. I like music where I can listen, like really listen to it and kind of get lost in the music. And sometimes I just like music that I can put in the background while it's talking to people or while it's doing something. And then I just like, or sometimes I just like music that gets me inspired, music that really
Yeah.
gets me going, so I'm the protagonist of this story,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. Which
And it
is
really
cool.
depends on, yeah, that's really cool. It really depends on what you look for in music. And I think it's, at the end of the day, what music means to me is just, the most correct statement would be, music has to be kind of a bop for me, and that's it, right? So
Yeah.
I'm answering the general question of what music means to me, is just with a very general answer, which is, well, music means to me stuff that bops.
It's a bop. Yeah, no. I sit
Yeah,
there
right.
and it's a bop. Is it a bop? It bops. You really got to take
Hmm.
your bopometer and be like,
It's
is
if
it
my brain
bopping?
goes if my brain goes, haha, endorphin, and even then, even that statement technically is wrong, because we still, like, some of the songs that we hold close to our heart, are songs that make us sad or make us remember a better
Yeah,
time or
yeah,
something
yeah.
like that. So it's not even haha brain go endorphin. Like it's
Yeah,
just
it's not even haha brain go serotonin make me happy, but yeah, but
yeah
I think I think you touched on it a little bit. There was just like music can hold so many different like emotions for people, which I think is
yeah
it's.
yeah.
I don't want to downplay any other piece of art as an emotional tool. I mean, like people cry when they look at like certain paintings or read certain poems or read certain books, but I think music
Yeah.
has just because of the kind of like the medium and how like kind of short and compact it is. You can really fit a lot of emotion and like a lot of like feeling into 2 minutes 45 seconds, or if you're like
Mm.
Soundgarden, a 16-minute song, um, and so there's just a lot of ways you can kind of like push emotions through something in such a way that is like beneficial, or like
Mm.
if you're Taylor Swift about how sucky your breakup is, or if you're Taylor Swift how happy you are that you've broken up with someone, or if you're Taylor Swift how angry you are that you've broken up with someone, or if you're Taylor Swift
Right.
how
I'm beginning to see a pattern here.
okay, when I was like 12, Taylor Swift was my shit because she was still singing country songs, and at the time, that was my bop. Was Taylor Swift singing about that special song she had with you, but now she listens and she's kind of sad because you're not there anymore. But no, I think a lot of people rag on Taylor Swift, but I mean, she's gone farther than most people have with music, so good for her.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's you can give artists a lot of flack for how shitty their work is or much you dislike it, but at the end of the day, the sad
You
truth is,
listen
even
to
if you
it,
don't like it, you're still yeah. At the end of the day, even if you don't like it, you're still furthering the
yeah,
influence
you've
of
heard
someone.
it. Like that means something if it's gotten all the way to the point where you've heard it. So
Yeah, like if you as someone who has no connections to a scene hear a piece of music from that scene, that artist has made it. That
yeah,
artist has
has
achieved what they
gotten to
set
you.
out to do.
They
And I think
got
that's
you.
something that's a big problem usually for like artists is reaching people that like for example, if I have a critique of something, if I critique something, let's say the government,
hmm
of course, it will reach people that are anti-government because
hmm
these people support the thing that they like.
Yeah,
Whereas my target is not people that like the stuff that I do; it's the people that like the stuff that I don't.
yeah,
And I think once you reach people that are against your opinion, you have you've achieved what you set out to do.
yeah. Or
If
in a
that's the thing
less
you set out to do.
politically charged. If you're Pepsi, you're trying to get people that drink Coke. you know, which I don't know. I don't know if that completely tracks outside of the United States. You are from Hermione, right?
Mm.
And so I don't know. Do you guys drink Coke and Pepsi there? Is Coke and
Yeah, yeah,
okay,
we've got
cool.
both.
Okay, cool. Well, it's here. They're they're the two competing factors. Are you like if you're a proud like I've listened to so many debates on this. Personally, I'm a Pepsi kind of guy, but
Well, to the cross you go, buddy.
yeah, crucify me. I'm your new Jesus. God is dead, and now I'm Jesus. Um, so it's just kind of like that. You sit there and you go, oh, like I'm diehard Pepsi, and then this is why I like Pepsi, and then your goal is to get someone who only drinks Coke to go, okay, I get it, and then maybe I'll take a sip, even if they don't like it afterwards. Like you've missioned accomplished, mission goed. You've passed go. You've collected your 200, and so, and I think that's the music can be so unifying, but at the same time, it's so it's
Yeah,
so
music can be
split.
very unifying, but also very separating.
Yeah, like you're never gonna like yeah they exist, but you're not gonna find an old person who's sitting there head banging to screamo. I bet a few old people who are pretty into metal, but it's just there's a lot of divides that it causes between there's always like the common like oh in the like early beginnings of like rock and roll. You know, everyone was like, "Yo, I don't like that," but then all the kids were like, "Yo, I like that," and then it was like this whole cultural thing where it's like parents are like, "Rock and roll's of the devil," and everyone doing rock and roll was like, "Fuck yeah, we're of the devil," and
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that's. I think music is in this case like as soon as it divides, music is not the reason why it divides. It's rather just a
it's like a cultural,
catalyst. It's
personal,
like a
yeah,
catalyst.
catalyst.
It's
Yeah.
like it's a catalyst for the human problems, and I think that's with anything created by humans, it can be a catalyst for human problems, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So if you really want to divide an audience, there's always gonna be something where you can divide people upon. Like even if it's just the way you like your potatoes, right? It
Or
like, you
pineapple
could
on pizza. Pineapple on pizza
yeah, like
will you'll see
you
people
could
fighting in the streets on pineapple or pizza. Or like Chicago versus New York pizza, people will throw fists. People
yeah
will shoot each other. That might just be indicative of the American issue, but people argue on the internet all day about whether it's Chicago or New York style pizza, or if
yeah
pineapple
yeah.
belongs on pizza, or
Also, on a
whether
side
country
note,
music is garbage or not.
thank God for the internet. So many fucking useless arguments have like
Oh,
it's the platform for useless arguments.
all
Imagine we
day.
didn't have an internet.
I
Like,
know.
imagine this shit being debated on TV or in real life. Holy fuck, that would be a terrible world.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
like,
instead we
personally,
thought
I love
instead
the internet because I get to argue about the useless shit that I don't feel the need to argue about on a daily basis. Like,
yeah, like it's a wonderful plate. Like it's basically this black hole, this waste pit. It's this waste pit of arguments, right? And like even if you have a constructive argument on the internet, aside from personal gains or like personal advancements, you will never make any. You
yeah,
won't
it doesn't
have an
matter.
impact on culture. It's wonderful.
I think it's a very good humbling tool if people could just learn that they need to be humbled by it. It's a place where you can wholly speak your mind and you can put out every opinion, but then you look at it and nobody cares. I think people need to understand that nobody cares.
Yeah, like there's always a part of me being like, yeah, the stuff said on the internet is I mean, looking at it realistically, it's kind of useless, but technically it also holds a lot of power, right?
Yeah.
Nowadays, like imagine some celebrity being on fucking saying that every black person should die in the internet in like 2002, and
Yeah.
now imagine if they said it today.
Yeah,
Big
or and
difference in 2002. Like in 2002, no one would have cared, you know.
well, every people would have cared, but not as many people would have heard about it.
First
Cuz
of all, that, and second of all, back then, I think that the internet was just this unimportant place, right?
yeah, and now you can't really do anything on the internet without someone being able to point at it, which contradicts exactly what I just said, that like the internet, like no one cares, but at the same time people care way too much, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Which I think the internet can have like a lot of positive influence. I mean, like, if I don't like to talk about the political state of the United States, but I mean, if you look on the internet right now, like celebrities are like, hey, like everything's kind of fucked up, and it can be a real good tool for change.
I mean, yeah, but
It's also a
on the
great
same
tool for
time,
being a segregating racist asshole, because
yeah, yeah. I mean,
I
just we currently we are in a month where the perfect example for how the pendulum swings both ways, right? So we have on the one side the Black Lives Matter movement being supported by many, many people on the internet. One side of the pendulum, and then it swings in the other direction, and we've got shit like Pridefall going on,
yeah,
and
yep,
so it's a
yeah,
perfect example. We are in a textbook example situation that shows how things can go either.
yeah,
Like
both.
things can be very great and very bad at the same time.
Amen, amen. Which is so honestly horrifying to me. I don't know if it's horrifying to you, but it is the most terrifying thing when you sit there and you go, holy shit, we have a place where all the idiots and all the bigots and all the people who just have way too much free time on their hands can get together and just be this whole, like, wasp's nest of hatred and anger, which a lot of it's fueled by ignorance and puberty and, you know, social situations and, you know...
On the other end, that's the thing about the pendulum, like it can swing both ways. So I myself have the same, just as these cunts have the way, or like have the options of ruining people's lives, I have the option to fight against it, right?
Yeah, and then there's places of pure, like, wholesome energy, like, like like my Discord, and then like several Discords I'm in.
Not true. Not to brag, but
yeah, not to like toot my own horn, jerk my own dick, you know, grind my genitals against your ear holes for a minute here. All the people in my Discord are like super wholesome, super like supportive people, and you know, like even like Younger Hunger's Discord and like some of the other Discords that I'm in, they're like super just like wholesome places where you can, you know, you go and you're like, oh shit, like everybody's super fucking chill. No one's like murdering me, and no one's, you know, trying to murder me, which is cool, which is like a vibe, you know. Nobody wants to be in a place where, you know, they're not wanted or like they're not like appreciated. But so it definitely shows that whole pendulum thing you were talking about. Like on one side, you know, Pridefall and, you know, the KKK I'm sure has a Facebook page, you know, and then,
I mean, of course they do. Everyone has.
You know, I don't have a Facebook, so not to like disprove.
At least you're not on the same level. At least you're not on the same level as the KKK.
Yeah, at least I'm not the KKK. I don't have Facebook. And then on the other end is, you know, like safe space websites and like places where you can be like, oh, I don't have anyone to like help me through, like I'm transitioning, or, you know, like I'm struggling with my sexuality, or I'm lonely. You know, there's whole like sections of the internet where they're just like, yo, same, let's like get through this together kind of deal. And it's like the whole, even pendulum swings back and forth, and it's like, it's both a positive and a negative, which is just very indicative of just like life in general. You know, not to get like too philosophical in your ass or anything, but like everything's duality, everything's got both sides, which is both positive and negative, you know. Even in man, I keep going back to politics, but even like with the riots, there are the people who are like protesting peacefully and, you know, doing this just for, you know, human rights and all this. And then you have the pure opposite side, or people who are like, oh, all these protests are so wrong, like, yeah, like fuck, you know.
I mean, even on the
protests, there's people who are looting and people who are just using it for personal gain. You know, like Logan Paul, or was it Jake Paul? I don't remember.
Have you seen the same person? Have you seen? Yeah. One of them was fucking looting.
I think it was Jake Paul.
You could just buy. You could literally just buy the fucking store.
You're so rich. You have so much money. You trick kids every day to give you money. Like, you don't need to be looting. Like, I'm not looting and I'm broke as shit. Like, I'm poor as hell. Like,
yeah, but I mean. It's just, it's the thing, you know.
Yeah, everybody's gonna do their thing, and it makes. I mean, you can get angry about it all day, but I mean.
Yeah. At the end of the day, even us talking about it, both of us are finding validation within one, and like both of us feel great now. But let's be real, it has no impact on society whatsoever.
Right? I could sit here and scream at my computer all day. And people would probably listen.
I mean,
there's
at the end of
people that would listen and be like, yeah, I'm
bump,
anger, grr, rar, XD, angry emote on Discord.
Notice your hate, bulgy.
Nuzzles your gunny oney, don't shoot me, ooh woo. But like,
oh god,
Jen's gonna hate that. Jen's gonna comment how much she hated that. But
wonderful.
It's fine. Good. Suffer. But yeah, no, it's
We must
just
maximize misery.
maximize misery in your daily life by bullying your friends. Um, so I'm gonna move on a little bit. What is your ideal? What is your favorite genre? Like favorite genre?
Favorite genre? That's a hard one.
Yeah,
That's
no, it's a
honestly a
very
hard
hard.
one
It's a very hard question.
because honestly, I think I don't have a favorite genre. I always have this stuff where I come back to, and I'm like, yeah, picking a band of this genre usually, mostly, sometimes gives me I like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, something that will always something that I can always listen to would, for example, be Amplified History, because there's literally only one band producing Amplified History, as far as I know, and that band would be Heilung, which is like Heilung is something that I can very much listen to because, first of all, it's very unique.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's at this point in time something that I've never heard before in that way.
So for
Like
the
I've heard.
so for the unindoctrinated, what the fuck is that?
All right, so you remember how I was talking about how you could literally bang a fucking rock against a
Uh
wall and
huh.
it's mute?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they advanced. So we were banging rocks against the wall is music from 30,000 BC,
Mm-hmm.
and amplified history is music from like 0 and 100 AD, around that time, right? So
Okay.
it's this. They are taking these. I think it was Proto-Germanic chants and stuff like that, like Proto-Germanic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was Indo-Germanic. It one of those two things. It was very, very early. Like when the Romans were still around, you would hear this shit in the forest. Let's just say it like that,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And they sing about a lot of stuff. Sometimes in German, sometimes in English, sometimes in in not in Dutch, but in Icelandic, I think,
Uh
in
huh.
Norwegian accents, something like that. Not accents, but dialects. But you know
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get.
Yeah.
You
No.
get
No.
it.
I got it. I got it. I got it.
And
Yeah. Everybody's got you.
they are producing this very unique kind of tribal music,
Mm-hmm.
which I just very like because it's just raw emotion, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just listen to that and you can feel the emotion, not in like, and that has in a huge part to do with the very, very good performances of the two lead singers, or like the two prominent singers.
Uh huh.
One is Maria Franz, and the other is Kai something.
Okay.
I forgot the last name, but both of them have a very, very interesting way they. You know, Mongolian.
Yeah. Mongolian throat singing. It's like the yeah. Like Mongol rock has been really
It's
prevalent on
kind
like
of
YouTube and stuff.
and like. Oh yeah, Mongol metal is really cool.
Yeah, I
But
don't really like personally. I don't really get it. I think it sounds kind of cool, and like in Jedi Fallen Order, it opens up and it's Mongol throat singing over like heavy metal, and it's like yeah, that's like cool. Like it's I
mhm.
personally I don't really get it, but
You know who made that song? Who produced that song?
who?
It was one of the biggest Mongol metal bands, The Who,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah. I know
they
that.
recorded that in a different like in a made up. First of all, they wrote it in Mongolian, then it was translated into a fantasy language or like a science fiction language,
Yeah, one
and
of
then
the
it was
many
sung in that
many
language.
nerd Star Wars languages. Yes.
Yes, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, it's definitely
But
really
I
cool,
was
but I just
I was getting sidetracked. So
I don't get
um,
it.
and like the thing with Heilung is it's definitely not for everyone. Like I wouldn't see, for example, snobby 60-year-olds listen to it. But if you're like willing to go into that kind of more, I would even describe it as more natural because they also only use like they primarily use drums.
Hmm.
and the voices for effect. And it just feels very rooted, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of dislike using that word because I have take a human from 2000 years ago and take me, we have nothing in common except for being humans, right?
Yeah.
Like these people lived completely different lives. And but it feels very kind of close to home.
Mm-hmm.
Like something that so we were in the Black Forest, right? We
Yeah.
went to the so-called Ravenna Schlucht or Ravenna Creek in English, and it was just we were. I remember we were done with wandering the what was it, 11 kilometers or something like that, and we got back into our car and made our way home, and it was kind of rainy. It was very grey. It was lots of clouds were coming in from the forest, and I listened to Heilung, and I looked outside of the window, and I was just in like this very peaceful state of mind. Like I was looking at the forest, and I was looking at its absolute beauty. It was like, damn, this is very kind of natural. And then ever since then, I've started appreciating nature a lot more. Like whenever I am in nature, I like try to be as much in nature as I am. Right? I try
Yeah.
to feel the wind, feel the grass, hear the sounds, smell the forest, for example, or the region I am around, and I'm just at peace.
Mm-hmm.
Because a large part of what they do is also still anchored in the very naturalistic beliefs they hold.
Mm-hmm.
So, in an interview, they said, go camp, like if you go camping for 1 or 2 weeks, just in the nature, and completely put yourself off of technology, away from civilization, only in the forest. After a while, you look at the forest, and it just seems like this one big being,
Yeah.
right? And I think that in as a large part of that has to do with humans are by nature very, very what is it called? Like by nature, we apply these mythologies to the
Mm-hmm.
things around us, because of course, like if I'm if I go camping and it's night, of course I think to myself, hey, that's just the forest. It's just the sounds that it makes. It's just basically it's a forest.
Yeah.
But once you're away from this clinical from like the clinical thinking that civilization gives you, once you kind of even just slightly get away from that, the forest isn't just a forest, it becomes the being, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just something that's very interesting that Heilung's music really gets. Like it really gives you this deep
Almost
down feeling.
like spiritualistic, like
Yeah,
reconnection with
yeah,
like nature,
definitely.
and that's not
I
something
mean,
that
yeah,
I
definitely.
necessarily get
And
to feel in my daily life. Living in a
me
city,
neither.
and living
Like,
in
like,
away from nature.
yeah,
But
like if
it's
it like
something I'm definitely
in
gonna
in
try now. I just need to go find a camping spot. Get really stoned
yeah,
out of my
yeah. I
mind.
mean,
Just kidding. Don't do
to be
drugs.
fair, to be fair, America has a lot of this nature still preserved within it, right?
Yeah, nature preserves, and there's a lot of laws that stop people from just bulldozing everything. But we
Yeah,
certainly try our best to bulldoze everything. But
yeah.
no, I definitely there's a lot of places around me living in Midwest America that I could definitely go and just hit nature at its fullest. But
Mm.
it's not always easy. It's easier said than done to get
No, no,
out of
no.
your head, get into the wilderness. But it's something I definitely want to try. It's something it's like a very interesting kind of concept to me.
Yeah, I think like even just I think everyone at least once in their life should experience a thunderstorm outside of a house,
Yeah.
because once you remove all of the things that civilization gives you, like if you remove your house, your feeling of safety, if you
Hmm.
remove yourself entirely from these things, you start to feel small again.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, for sure.
you get very, very humbled by nature, right?
Yeah, because I mean, nature is just like, I mean, even if you don't like believe in like religious like ideologies or like God or anything like that,
Yeah,
nature is just like this overhanging kind of almost being that we can't even fully conceive, just because like you can learn about every everything that makes the rainfall and like the whole, but if you're just out there and you're just kind of like sitting there and kind of seeing it and feeling it all happen, it's
yeah.
wholly
You
different than
forget about
anything.
that
Yeah,
stuff. You don't think about it. You just
yeah,
brain goes offline and caveman instincts kick in.
yeah.
You know.
You definitely get to go full Neanderthal and just go, wow, rain go wet.
Yeah, rain go bloop bloop.
Sky go bloop
and
bloop. I look up, rain get in eye, and I go bloop bloop.
Yeah, and I think that's something that just comes with being in these big civilizations and environments tamed by humans.
Mm-hmm.
Who just on the one hand, it's a blessing because it allows us for rational thinking and it allows us for critical thinking and it allows us to advance our civilization, right?
Yeah,
It allows
don't
us
get
to
us
think.
wrong.
Like,
Don't just go pure animal. Okay, use your
yeah, like
brain.
don't go and prim or something like that.
What's the shitty billboard slogan that everything uses? Oh, the mind is a terrible thing to waste. Hate that billboard, but it's true. Don't go ape. A lot of people go ape on the internet. Don't go ape. Okay, use your
Don't go ape.
brain.
Don't embrace monkey.
Use
Don't
logic.
reject modern.
Don't reject
Don't.
science. Science is a good boy. Don't be a flat earther.
I mean, yeah, that comes with,
The
you
Earth
know,
is a velociraptor. Okay, let's not get out of control
always been.
here. It's the shape of a velociraptor, clearly. Okay.
Yeah, but like, I just, on the one hand, it's just this blessing for us to think rationally. Like, for example, think back 30,000 years ago. There was no question of is a woman as much worth as a man. There's literally just a how the fuck do I get food on the fucking table? How the fuck am
Yeah.
I going to survive to tomorrow? You're not going to think about what tomorrow comes. You're not going to think about the rights of others. You're not going to think about other people and species and how you should treat the world. You were literally just thinking about fuck,
Oh,
where do I
my
get
tummy
food?
hungry. What can I consume that isn't going to immediately kill me?
Yeah, yeah.
How
You're
do I
just
hit thing with a rock and make it
yeah,
taste
and like
good?
even like 1500 years ago or some shit like that, or like
Hmm.
in the Middle Ages, most people never got to a point in their life where they could think, "Huh, is there other life out there? Huh?
Hmm.
Uh, is the things I think about, isn't that right?" No, you were just living in the day.
Yeah,
You were
you were
just
just going
living.
about your business. You were just going,
Yeah,
oh,
you
how
just
am I gonna not get attacked by bandits? How am I
yeah.
just gonna
I'll
vibe?
be right back in a minute. I'll be right back in a minute.
Okay, I'm going to talk until you get back because I don't really plan to do any editing. But so until he gets back, I'm going to talk about my own music taste. Or if I had the ability to get ads right now, I'd place an ad right here and make you listen to a 30-second ad. Get me to the point where I can make you sit through a 35-second unskippable ad on YouTube. That would be the most ideal. However, we've already been going for 48 minutes. Damn, this is going to be a long one. If you've made it this far, thank you for sticking around. I hope you continue to the end of this podcast. I know it's kind of gone off the rails. We've started to get a little deep here, a little big mind blow, big brain, big thonk mode. I'll actually take this time to do some quick shout outs. Take this as a mid meal ad. Shout out to everyone in my Discord. Feel free to join my Discord. I'm going to link it in the description below. Because right now this is only going on YouTube. I have some stuff in the pipeline for next episode, which this episode is coming out right after the first one, but it's going to be probably a week or so and before the next one. So be prepared for that. Some shout outs. Shout out to everyone in my Discord. Shout out my children. I love you all. Some music recommendations. Since we're no longer talking.
Yeah.
Are you back? Welcome back. Okay, cool.
Yes. Siblings are a blessing upon any person.
Oh, yes, of course, of course.
Oh, God. Anyways.
We're just doing some quick shout outs. Do you have anyone you would like to shout out in this podcast? I'm giving
Do you mean music-wise? I mean, shout out to Albert Einstein for discovering things.
Amen.
That was cool.
I
And
meant
also-
more like if you had any friends you wanted to give a quick shout out, so you can force them to listen to the podcast solely to.
Shout out to Kingsley. Get here, you fucking Czech bitch boy. Yeah, that's it.
All right, that's it. All right, cool. Any quick music recommendations other than I'm gonna put a link to that band you were talking about in the description or probably in a pinned comment. But do you have any?
Any more suggestions? Well, I mean, if you want some very chill guitar kind of shit, I can very much recommend Ulvesang. They just produce very chill guitar beats. Any other stuff? The Psychedelic Porn Crumpets for some very nice stoner rock.
Okay.
Yeah, those were. I mean, there's a million other artists.
Yeah, obviously there's like a
like.
million. Yeah, you could say.
Like,
I'm glad
none of
those were
them
your
current-
choices. I'm really glad those were your choices. For some recommendations from me, obviously I have to say Younger Hunger. I think I get sued in the next. Younger Hunger, Kings. Listen to my shit.
Yeah, these Kings guys these Kings guys. They're up and coming. I'm telling you, I've heard about them. They're quite cool. But I know, I only recently heard about them, and I'm in no way, shape, or form affiliated with any members of the band.
Absolutely not. Ha 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 ha. If you want something a little bit, oh God, what are they called? Auto Heart. Auto Heart's very good. They're different. They're kind of like a emo Spanish mixture kind of thing going on there. They're real good. And that's basically it for me. So we can talk about it a little bit more. We're about rounding out an hour here. We're at about 52 minutes. So.
Oh, nice. So we got one topic to cover, and then we can go back to being normal schmucks.
Yes. So, how do you feel about the music trend of making trends, or make the music trend of trying to make the next viral hit? Because I'm sitting here and, every day it's a new, like, Drake with the Tootsie Slide or whatever it's called. Or just people just trying to make hits that are not as much music for themselves as it is music for TikTok or Instagram or Snapchat.
Yeah.
Where,
I think
personally, like, I'll just go ahead and get my opinion out of the way now. I don't hate it. I think it's... People make music for a ton of different reasons, and personally I prefer music that has a lot of, like, sincerity to it. But in today's modernized commercial world, not everybody can afford to sit there and only make passion pieces,
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna agree with you there, because I think the thing with music is the fact that it's a business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with a business, first and foremost, you try to generate money. If you can generate money by making the thing you like, great, wonderful. That's great, right? That's what every artist aspires to do. But sadly, that's not something you can always do. You have to get food on the table, right?
Yeah.
So, I think artists always have to balance between passion project and stuff that gets money on your food. And it's always this struggle between how can I make this, what can I produce that will give me money, and what can I produce that feels like a passion project to me. If you're a few of the lucky people where you can literally just... You could read a fucking telephone book and people would buy everything. I'm talking about you, Ghost. I will buy that. I would buy that.
You heard it here
fucking
first.
Tobias Forge just reads a Swedish telephone book to me. New banger, absolute bop.
Absolute bars.
Yeah.
Bars.
Bars harder than the standard American. Oh no, I'm not gonna get into it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to stop you there, Chief. That's a.
I'm not gonna get into military history.
Yeah. We'll save that for the next episode. We'll do military episode next time you're on here.
But the thing is, essentially it's a business, and people have to live from something, and that's a concept I always keep in mind. Yet I usually dislike the trends because the trends are just not my stuff. Like it always happens to be that the current trending thing is something that I don't like, and that the people producing for these trends, it just after a while, like it just sounds same to me, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue, well, but it's not the same, and there's difference. Yeah, but subjective opinion, it sounds the same.
Yeah, and I mean, some people really enjoy the same. Like, just for myself, I will order the same thing at a restaurant every day for the next. Like, if someone was like, you have to eat, like, holding a gun to my head, like, hey, you have to eat this one food for the rest of your life, I wouldn't have a problem with that. I could do that. My music taste is slightly more, quote unquote, refined for that, you know? I can't listen to the same song, you know, over and over every day. Like, I mean, I have a honeymoon period with every song that I really enjoy where I'll listen to it every day, but normally I just kind of need, you know, my time for that. But, you know, it is what it is. It is what happens. So it kind of, you know, roundabouts to, yes, trends can be good. They kind of set up for other people to kind of make their own music and kind of do it.
Yeah, but they also just kind of kill creativity at some point.
You have to balance it out of like riding the wave of, oh, this is popular, so like if I make music in this genre, like it'll put my name out there and it'll help me get out there more, juxtaposed with I want to make my own original sound. So like, and I think that comes around to every couple, like every generation, you know, when Queen started becoming popular, or like when the Beatles started becoming popular, you know, especially with the Beatles, you know, the Beatles rose up, and then you got literally everyone trying to become the Beatles, everybody trying to be like the next set of the Beatles, like the Animals, and then like all of these other ones where it's just like the and then blank. Trying to become the next Beatles, kind of writing the same like sound and kind of similar thing, but putting their own spins on it, which led, you know, to the House of the Rising Sun being, you know, like a classic, where everybody's just kind of putting their spin on a formula that works, which was the formula being a bunch of hot dudes playing instruments, which, you know, boy bands.
Would you call okay different question? Would you call the Beatles hot? Genuine question, because I wouldn't.
At the time, they were popular. If you go back and look generationally at like British people, and like this isn't me coming for British people, but like they were all, you know, they all looked really similar. Actually, they were young.
Fuck that. If you, you know what? Fuck that. If you are British,
you're
fuck
ugly.
yourself. How dare you?
Ugly. Your teeth.
How
ugly.
dare you being British?
How dare you? No, not really.
How dare you?
How dare you? But for the time,
how dare you
know, they were four talented, attractive young men.
Yeah.
And they sold that well, and they made good music. A lot of their music wasn't until later, when they like tried to expand their sound. Early on, they were, you know, you could argue that everything they made was the same, but now that you kind of look back and you go, oh, they were just, you know, like riding the trend of their own popularity, which is not a bad thing, period, if it makes you...
I mean, it's just a reasonable thing to do, right?
Yeah, like if you
are popular, yeah, as soon as you're popular and you don't ride that, what the fuck are you even doing?
Yeah, like you're not going to immediately become popular and go, oh, I'm going to change my sound.
Yeah, first of all that, and second of all, like it's like striking gold. It's like having this being deep down in the mine you've been mining for like 12 years. Your wife has left you, your kids have died, you've eaten them because you don't have any money, and then you find a nugget of gold, and then you're like, yeah, you know what, fuck this.
Yeah, or like you've been digging and you're almost to the center of the earth and you finally hit gold. And you're like, okay, cool. Now that I've hit gold, time to dig somewhere else. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
like
It's
let me
just
climb
not
all
what
the
you
way to
do.
the top and start digging again. So yeah, no.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, I think that there's some bands out there that can do that. Like, for example, looking at the Gorillas, they have a
Oh
very,
yeah,
very kind of.
but you have to build like
I
if you're
think,
gonna do that, you have to build your band on the idea that no two song is gonna be the same. And even a lot of
yeah. I mean,
gorilla
okay,
songs
okay.
are pretty
Yeah,
similar,
yeah.
but
They can fall into the similar category, but I think all in all, the Gorillas can be very varied.
yeah, there's a lot of like if you go from real early stuff to their newest album, like their old
Yeah,
stuff is all
it's
like kind of like
yeah.
you could almost describe it as like
Gorillas.
post-apocalyptic, like kind of big vibes, and then you go to their new one, which is just basically a space opera, right? And
I
then
mean,
like,
yeah, kind of. I mean, honestly, if you go from Gorillas to the Now,
mm-hmm,
it has gotten a lot more electronical,
mm-hmm,
but it's still, it's just how things go, right? If you don't
yeah,
like it, and after the Now, the first song they brought out was instant. It felt like a part of the first album, you know. So
yeah.
you can, with the nice thing with Gorillas, you can just wait for anything, and it's probably gonna be good.
Yeah, no. There's definitely bands who can do whatever the fuck they want, and it's gonna come out good just because they're good musicians and they know how to
Yeah.
make good music.
Although, okay, honestly, I think that's one of the things where you can make a good band, like whether or not something is a good band, because even if they try something else, it sounds good. I think
Yeah,
that's quality.
which that kind of when you look at other bands, they're like, oh, when they try other things, it sounds bad, or like when they try other
Hmm.
things, it's not as good. I think that kind of shows like a weakness in the band, which I don't want to say just like any band is bad because they can only do one like brand of music, because that would mean I'm a terrible
Yeah.
band because I can really only do one brand of music, which is like
Yeah.
and there's a lot of really good artists that stick to one style, like Cave Town. They don't really. I wouldn't say Cave Town is an experimental. Oh, they're gonna try a bunch of different sounds. It's all real like
Yeah. Yeah.
like
I
soft,
mean,
like kind
even
of
like honestly, think about it. Most rappers also don't try anything.
yeah.
No,
But then
like I've heard in so many rap cases, and maybe it has to do with me not being super keen on rap. But
mhm.
it's like I'm looking at this music video and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty cool. And then in the comments, oh, this is so new, this is so great, nothing like that has ever been done before. And I'm like, well, it kind of,
Well,
no, not
it's
really.
from an outside. I listen to quite a bit of R&B and rap. From the outside, a lot of modern day rap. It's kind of hard to look in from the outside and go, "Oh, this is all different," which is partially a
Yeah, yeah,
limitation of the genre. Is that if you're not someone who is like in tune with different ways you flow and different rhyme schemes and different
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like producer marks and such. A lot of it does seem really same and like hard to distinguish. But a lot of it is just nuances, especially in rap. It's nuances like how you
yeah,
rap,
yeah,
what you rap about, your background,
yeah, yeah.
your
I
your
mean, I think
your
I
crew,
just took
stuff like
that.
that.
Yeah, I took that perspective because it's the one I have because I'm not much of a rap head.
Yeah.
I mean, same goes for example, metal, right? You could listen
Hmm.
to Gojira, and then you could listen to
Just some
I
other
don't
metal
know,
band.
Avatar,
Yeah.
for example,
Uh-huh.
Avatar, right? You listen to Gojira and Avatar. Let's take those two, and you have
Hmm.
never heard anything like that before, and you'd be like, "Huh, this is kind of similar." And
Hmm.
then you listen to it for a while, and then you'll be like, "Oh, those are two different bands."
Yeah. Which a lot of especially if you're not like looking for it, a lot of music does just sound the same. Uh,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
for the longest time, I
Except,
didn't know the difference between like I don't know if you know these two, Russ and like Bozzy. I didn't know there was a difference between the two people. I just assumed they were the same person making the same music, but
yeah.
they're different
And
people. Both weird white dudes with curly hair, but they're different people. And I think that's just
although,
something that kind of comes about as you listen to a genre more and more.
yeah,
Like,
and then you've got bands that are like something I like is the bands that are completely unique. Shit like Sisters.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard anything like Sisters before, and by God, I hope that I never will hear anything
Yeah.
like that. Right? Sisters is completely fucked up, but very unique.
It's very unique. That
Um,
is, I can't say that I enjoy it, but it is
it's very
extremely
unique.
unique.
And then
Which
you've
is
got
something that
stuff
is
like
definitely to benefit with bands,
yeah,
especially
and
if
then
it's out of that area and you kind of find it and you're like, holy shit, what the fuck is this? And you're like, but I kind of bop.
yeah, yeah,
Kind of
and
bopping right
then
now.
I think that's another reason why I like why I, for example, like Highland so much because even though like you could say yeah, it's just another part like Danheim and Vardruna and fucking Sovulo. No, that was an album. No, that was a band, not an album. And like
You
Sovulo
could have
and
you
stuff
could have
like
fooled me.
that, and
I wouldn't have been
you
able to
know,
call you
it's
on
all of
that.
this. It all sounds like it was made for a Viking, haha. And I mean, not really, but
Yeah, yeah, I got what you mean. It's just like you can look at it from the outside and be like, oh, holy shit, what the okay, this is all the same,
yeah,
or oh, this is all made for this type of people, or like personally, all mariachi music sounds the same to me. But
yeah.
if
But
I
a
said that to
mariachi
if I
connoisseur will
said
be
that
like,
to like my Hispanic neighbor, she'd beat me with a sandal because that's wholly incorrect, and
yeah,
people are ready to take up arms against that. But
yeah. But honestly, I think we are kind of getting repetitive at this point,
yeah, no, it's we're
and
just saying the same thing
it
over and
is
over again.
yeah, and
But
I
what
think
is
we
a
could end it on
podcast?
this.
What is a podcast without not being repetitive? You know?
Yeah, all right. I mean, now we can go to the phase where both of us just basically jerk each other off about our opinions and be like, "Oh my god, you're so right," but here's this thing, and then you'd be like, "Oh my god, this is so right," and here's this thing. But I
Yeah, but
mean,
we'll
you
save that
know,
for the OnlyFans account.
oh
We can
yeah,
watch jerk each other off for a couple hours. So I think that you made a good point though. We just were about at an hour and 10 minutes, so we're gonna wrap this up.
I think that's a nice number. I like
Yeah.
that number. So let's wrap it up here.
So I've been Stilly. You've been.
I've been here.
That's been
I've
Fishy.
been I was fishy and been here.
Glad we could end it strong. Thank you for listening. Like, subscribe, hit the
Tell me your
notification
firstborn.
bell, comment how
Yeah.
much you hate Fishy's voice,
Commit war crimes in Chechnya.
commit war crimes in Croatia.
Nah, not Croatia. Come on.
Hard stance, fuck Croatia, end it. No, just kidding. I've never been to Croatia. I just want to make that clear that is a joke. Please do not take that out of context.
I've never been to Croatia.
I have no
That was
opinion
no
on Croatia.
joke. I have a very strong opinion on Croatia.
All right. So thank you for listening. Look out for episode 3 coming out eventually. Who knows? Maybe little hint might be getting an actual guest. Fishy, you've been a great guest. I'm gonna have you on more because your voice is better than mine. So we'll just use that.
I hope so.
Wow. Fuck.
Okay,
you.
now let's stop.
Okay,
Let's stop jerking each other up and end this lovely little voice.
Let's stop.